We have Jim Craner joining us today to talk about the BookPoints program, which is an open source online summer reading program. And we are very grateful to have Jim talk to us today, and we look forward to hearing from him. Jim, go ahead and get started.
Great. Thanks for having us today. We're really looking forward to sharing our project here. I'll give you a very quick introduction first, and then we'll jump into the demo. As Jesse said, feel free to ask questions. I'd love to make this as interactive as possible and keep everybody engaged on this Friday afternoon. So BookPoints is a free and open source program. I just want to make that clear from the start. Many libraries download and run this software without any interaction from us whatsoever. But for libraries that do need some help, we do offer an affordable hosting service for our program. So that's pretty much what the opening paragraph of our website says. I'd encourage you to spend some time exploring our website. We've tried to really make it user-friendly for our librarians and also give you, as potential users of the software, a really good idea of what our application is capable of. So one thing to note is that BookPoints is an application that you can use to build basically any summer reading program that you have in mind. When we first started this project back in 2015, the California Library Association and the State Library of Virginia were partnering, and I'm not sure how they got together, but they're trying to develop a open source summer reading application that their member libraries could take advantage of. So we worked with them to build the software, and over the last 4 years, it's really grown by leaps and bounds. And it's been used by dozens of libraries in multiple states, not just California and Virginia. And it's been used by well over 100,000 readers. So we've actually been very proud of how many libraries have built summer reading applications with our software. The software is based on Drupal, which is another open source website framework. So if your organization already uses Drupal, you are well equipped to grab this software and make it do all sorts of really complex things that it doesn't do out of the box. But the goal of this project is to make it as easy as possible for librarians with no technical skills to build a custom summer reading website just for their library. Now, initially, several years ago when we started, we'd hoped to just make one single program, one size fits all, like a cookie cutter. And we quickly found that libraries are very attached to their existing paper-based summer reading programs. So we've made this software as flexible as possible. Obviously, you can customize things like, let me go ahead and switch the application here. Obviously, you can customize things like the header image, the color scheme, the language that's used on the website, but actually you can go behind the scenes. If your summer reading program for, let's say, pre-readers is based on reading 10 minutes a day for 30 days, you can set that program up. If you have a different program for kids where they complete their summer reading goals by reading 20 pages a day, 5 times a week, you can set that up. And maybe you have a different criteria for your teen readers where you want to have them just count the total number of books they've read and then award prizes based on that. We can set that up as well. All of these programs can be completely different or structured the same, and they can all exist happily side by side on one website with your library's branding and your custom language. A quick note about paper-based programs. Many libraries don't want to give up their paper-based programs, and that makes sense. We've still got plenty of patrons who don't have internet access at home. We do offer a hybrid mode where you can actually use with some data entry forms where you can quickly scan and enter all of your paper forms and still have those numbers counted in your reports at the end of the summer. So if you have 100 online readers and 100 paper-based readers, obviously there's going to be a little bit of time to do your data entry for your paper readers, but you can have all of that data show up in one nice, neat, unified report after Labor Day that you can then use for whatever purposes. So Jesse, please feel free to interrupt me if there are any questions. I'd love to answer those live and not make everybody wait until the end. But I'm going to go ahead and dive in and take a look at a demo. You can see here, you can feel free to follow along. This website is anytown.bookpoints.org. And you can see here, this is a fake website for the Anytown Public Library. Again, everything on this website is customizable. You customize the text, logo, graphics, color scheme, etc. You don't need to know any HTML, no CSS. If you do know HTML and CSS, you can customize the site even further by using your own exact colors and things like that. But again, the goal of this is to make it as easy as possible for a librarian to set up their own summer reading website. Let's see what this looks like for a patron. I'm going to click the register button and create a new account. One quick note here. The first year we made this software, we didn't offer family accounts. And parents quickly let us know that that's not acceptable. A parent with 6 kids was pretty upset that they had to have 6 different usernames and passwords, basically just to enter Pete the Cat 12 times in one day, right? So we do allow you to create a household account now. Again, I'm going to say this like a broken record, everything is customizable. You can see that librarians can customize the instruction panels here, and this text at the top of the page is customizable as well. Even the fields themselves are customizable. It's very easy to add a new field, such as you could add zip code, for instance, if you're trying to collect statistics that way, and maybe you don't already collect that field. We've had people add fields such as what's your favorite book, things like that. I'm going to make a new user here, and we'll call this the example family. And I'll use my own personal email address here. And as the father, I'll go ahead and put myself in as the first reader here. Again, this is customizable. You can very easily add a list of branches. If you have multiple branches, you can import a text file, or you can just type them in by hand. All of these fields can also be made mandatory. So you can choose to make people have to have a library card number before they can sign up for the site. Just like everything else, the terms of use on the site is completely customizable. Our basic terms of use just cover the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. We definitely encourage you to keep that policy on there, and we'll create a new account. So you can see the registration is successful. We're now logged in. At this point, we can add readers. The previous screen indicated that we can add an account, a reader account for ourselves as the parent, or we might just want to add an account for our kids. I'll go ahead and make 2 accounts here. The first one will be for our first fake child, so we'll call her Fergie. Example, she's a 5-year-old who just finished kindergarten, and she attends, not sure what example schools I have in here. Example, Walter Jackson Elementary School. Here we go. Again, these fields are all customizable. You can make them required, optional, or hide them completely. The schools, some library service areas have hundreds of schools. If you have all of those in a spreadsheet, you can just import them in just a few seconds. Or if there's just a few schools, you can manually add them. We encourage you to keep this auto search field because it prevents having miscommunication about the data collected. So for instance, if there's a John F. Kennedy Junior High School, some people might enter it JFK JHS, some people will say Kennedy Junior High, etc. So by using a pre-populated list, you can ensure that you have reports that show how many readers attended from each school and know that those are relatively accurate. So again, customizable form. Here are our sample programs. Most libraries have 4 programs: free reader, kids, teens, and adults. You can have just one single program for the entire city, or some libraries have multiple programs beyond those 4. Some libraries add additional programs for ESL readers. One library had a program just for city employees because the city was encouraging their employees to use the library. They had their own incentives there. Here is an existing program we made on the last demo call, summer reading. I'll go ahead and choose that. And we're now prompted to add another reader. I do want to show you what it looks like when we have multiple readers, so I'm going to quickly add a brother for Fergie here, and we'll call him Frank. Example, he'll be 10, what's that, 4th grade, maybe? And we'll go ahead and say he also attends Walter Jackson. Click Next. And let's go ahead and put him in this example kids program, just so you can see the differences between multiple programs. We'll say no to adding another reader, and click Next. Again, this is all customizable. If you have specific questions, feel free to ask in Q&A or chat and have Jesse interrupt me. So once we've created our readers, they're at the reader dashboard. This is the screen they're going to go to every time they log into the site. I don't have a mobile demo that I can easily switch to on this computer, but this is a mobile-friendly responsive design. Works perfectly well on mobile browsers. It's possible to also embed that in your existing website if you wanted to, but we always encourage people to keep this unique URL up here. As you can see, we have the two readers we created, Fergie and Frank. On the dashboard, we have a few key components. You can switch between readers here. Every reader has a book log where they can store the books that they read. There's also a space for the option to enter an author, and the kids can also rate this book. At the end of the summer, some school districts require the kids to print out a list of all the books they read. So we have this reading log link up here that will help the kids automatically print out that list for their school. Here's where the gamification aspect comes into summer reading. We've made summer reading an online game. So kids earn points for achieving their reading goals. They can also earn points for doing fun things around the library or around the community. Kids can earn digital badges, which are like digital stickers that show up on their dashboard. This is pretty familiar to kids. The video game systems they use, like Xbox Live or the PlayStation Network, also use a similar concept of digital badges to reward achievement. We include a lot of default badges. For instance, this year, so many libraries are doing the CSLP and iRead space themes. So we have a lot of space-themed graphics and digital badges based on the planets. So you can collect the Mercury badge and the Venus badge and the Jupiter badge and so on. You can obviously create your own badges. Let's take a look at some badges on the bookpoints.org website, just so you can take a look and see what I'm talking about. Oh, here it is on the first screen. These are all digital badges created by other libraries, and they've shared their badges with us. So this is the Kern County Library in California, and then Riverside County. We've got a lot of other badges that we've created and that other libraries have created, and you can see that you can win badges for all sorts of stuff. This is a really great way to stimulate engagement. Again, we provide hundreds by default, but you can feel free to add your own. We'll earn some badges here in a moment. A couple other things. We have the capability for kids to use secret codes. This is a really fun feature. You can hide a secret code around the library. You can print them out and stick them inside books. You can give them out at story time. So you can have kids earn points and prizes only if they attend events in the library, because they have to come to the event to get the secret code. One of my favorite ideas is to partner with a local museum, and the kids can only get a certain secret code if they ask the front desk at the museum. So if they attend the museum and get that code, they can earn extra points and prizes. I think I have one in here just to show you how this works for Harriet the Spy, who's our favorite secret code spy person. Oh, looks like maybe I haven't put that one in. We'll take a look at the program a little later and we'll look at an example. One more thing to note, you can also have kids claim their own points and prizes by doing self-claim activities. These are based on the honor system, so it's entirely possible that a kid will cheat and just click on claim on any activity that you have on there. You can see here you completed an activity, and I now have a badge. So that's a good example of how an activity works. You can see I now have the campfire badge, one of our summer 2019 badges. Let's take one more look at the dashboard. Let's see what it looks like when Fergie reads a book. She's very precocious, so she read 1984 and loved it. And click submit. Oh, it looks like I didn't click my stars there. This is a demonstration site, so I'll ask you to please ignore some of our warning messages there. As far as timing goes, we're actually launching our first 2019 sites on Monday. Some of our libraries won't even begin setting up summer reading until late May. We'll do everything the last week before Memorial Day. If you do wish to do online summer reading, now's a great time to get started. Again, 2019 software comes out Monday. We usually recommend that new libraries leave at least a couple of weeks to read our documentation, attend a training class, do some setup activities, and then follow up with me if they have any questions after that. So again, for the time being, because this is in demonstration mode, please ignore that those pink boxes. You can see here that Fergie earned a badge. She also earned 100 points. We use points to tell how much reading the kids have done. And again, this is completely custom. So every library can set up every program differently. You can have kids get points and badges for pages read, minutes read, hours read, number of books read, or number of 20-minute periods read. Because we had one library that insisted that they have their kids track time in 20-minute increments. So you can choose from any of those options when setting up your programs. Let's switch over to Frank and see what Frank's book log looks like. So we've switched to a new reader here. Frank has not won any badges yet. He has no points. You can see that Frank's book log looks a little different. The program Frank's in awards prizes based on how many minutes the kids have read. That's the ultimate goal, not how many books. So let's say that Frank read Pete the Cat, and as we all know, kids can have you read that 20 times nonstop. So let's say that we spent 45 minutes on Pete the Cat, and it's absolutely our favorite. I'll click Submit. Thank you for submitting your entry. You can see that Frank now has 45 points. Looks like we're pretty strict on this test program. We haven't given him a badge yet. I'm going to go ahead and give Frank a couple of hours of free minutes here, just so you can see what happens when he triggers the prizes. Oh, this is a very stingy prize program. Let's take a look and see how to change that and see what this software looks like on the back end. While I switch to the administration side of things, again, any questions so far? Jesse, is it still no questions?
No questions yet.
Great. All right. We'll assume everyone's following along closely and just loving it. You'll notice right now that we're at a different URL. The first URL was anytown.bookpoints.org, and this is demo.bookpoints.org. These are two different URLs that refer to the same site. Any of you that have ever worked on your website before know that when you log in to edit something on your website, the page can look different than it does when you view the website as an ordinary visitor. So what we've done is give every BookPoint site two addresses. One address is the admin address, and this is the address I'm using right now, and I can log in. You can clearly see this big orange warning on the left. You're an admin. I'm going to see that every time I'm logged in as an administrator. You'll also see that instead of the reader dashboard, I'm at the library dashboard. But I can tell by this graphic here that I'm actually looking at the same core website. The reason we do this is because it makes it very easy for librarians to switch back and forth from administrator mode, that you can see right here, to reader mode in the same web browser. Before we did that, if you wanted to see the site, what it looked like to a member of the public, you'd have to either use a whole other web browser, or you'd have to log out and log back in as a reader, and then log out and log back in as administrator. So I just wanted to explain why we're looking at two different URLs that actually refer to the same website. When you're following along today, you can actually use either one of those URLs to sign up, because again, they're two addresses that just point to the exact same web server. So now that we've cleared that up, let's see what it looks like when we log into the website as an administrator. There's a note here that I want to talk about really briefly on the left-hand side. We have three levels of accounts in BookPoints. The reader account you've already seen. You can add a profile and add books to your book log, maybe do some activities. That's about it. When you're a librarian, you can do day-to-day operations such as looking up a user's account for them, resetting a password, or if a user comes in and says, hey, the application said I've earned a $5 pizza gift certificate, the librarians can log in and confirm that reader actually got it, and then check them off so they don't try the same thing in another branch that afternoon. So those are some of the things a librarian might do day to day. But we're logged in as an administrator, so you can see how easy it is to build a new custom program. When you log in as an administrator, you see this dashboard. By default, we don't have all of the widgets enabled, basically because I haven't used this demo site this week. You can see that only one reader has logged data today. So this graph of the number of readers we've had recently is not very interesting. You can see as we scroll down here, some of these dashboard widgets link to the full reports. This is something that's really important for BookPoints librarians. We have dozens of built-in reports, as well as a report builder that lets you create your own custom reports. And then you can export those to CSV files. So you can use them in Excel and make graphs and charts more complex than our built-in graphs and charts. The really great thing about online summer reading is the amount of data that you can collect and use. Now, I'm not talking about privacy data. We're very privacy conscious. We encourage you all to have a very strict privacy policy that you follow. But I'm talking about data about the number of kids and adults who use your programs and how they use them. When I've talked to libraries before, we say, how do you collect data about summer reading? Some libraries don't even count the number of summer reading logs collected. They only count the number they gave away. They say, well, we printed out 800 reading logs, gave 200 at every branch, and we have about 50 left. So we had 750 kids participate in summer reading. That's not good data. I hate to be a data nerd about this, but we can get good data by actually counting the number of completed paper logs. If you choose, you can also add up the number of books read on those paper logs and enter them into this system. Obviously, our software automatically tracks the number of books, the number of minutes, the number of pages read, etc. So you can have that data. So our goal was to make it so that you can enter that paper data and automatically have all your online data and have it all generate these nifty reports. Just a few other things to note here. You can track number of signups. This is also visible per branch, so you can have little fun branch versus branch competitions. You can see your most popular badges, our most popular books. Again, most of these dashboard widgets have a view report link at the bottom, and those will link you directly into these reports that are visible here on the left-hand menu. So I've just highlighted these. I hope you can see my highlighting on the screen here. We have reports on every aspect of the software, from email integration with MailChimp, reports on book titles and popular books, reports about the readers, what school they attend, how old they are, what grade they are. Again, if you choose to collect that data, you don't have to. And then you can also get reports on how many people signed up, what branch they sign up at, etc. Any questions about the report so far? Still, everything seems pretty straightforward? Yep. Good to hear.
Good.
Good. So far, so good. Great. All right. Well, now that we've seen the dashboard and talked a little bit about reports, I want to show you how easy it is to create a program. Over here on the left-hand side, you can see a setup menu. You can see how easy it is to set up pretty much everything. I showed you earlier that we have these digital badges that the kids can earn. Let's look and see what badges look like from the administrator point of view. So you can see these badges here. Looks like in one of our earlier demos, Anna from another library added a couple badges as well, or edited a couple badges. We've got iRead badges. Interesting note, iRead and CSLP are the two big summer reading materials providers. Every year iRead works with us. We have a partnership with them. They give us graphics and other visual assets that they're going to make materials for. CSLP has declined to work with us. The reason is that they said they were going to have their own online summer reading application. That was a couple years ago, and we still haven't seen it. So if you do have the CSLP theme, unfortunately, we can't, for copyright reasons, we can't give you badges that look exactly like their materials this year. But we do have a lot of space-themed badges. We have a lot of badges that we created from NASA for Kids, which is public domain. So we do have some space-themed stuff that you can still adapt. You can search for specific badge. As you can see, we have a lot of iRead badges from over the years. These are all some of the default badges that come with the site. Oh, quick note here, you can import from a spreadsheet as well if you have a lot of badges that you'd like to upload. So let's look at some of the other things that we can have on the site. Prizes. We haven't really talked about prizes before. I'm very proud of our prize redemption program. Some libraries don't use this. For some libraries, the prizes they give out during summer reading are just freebies like bookmarks or stickers. But for other libraries, they have a limited number of valuable prizes to give away, and they want to make sure that those are distributed fairly. So what we've done is create a system where when a kid progresses through their reading program and they've read enough to earn a prize, on the website, they see a message, a flag that pops up and says, you've earned a prize. Go to the library to collect it. And you can customize that message. When they go to the library, they have to have a librarian look them up in the system and confirm that they've earned that prize. Once the librarian gives them the prize, like the gift certificate or the coupon for a free pizza, then the librarian marks them off. This is a very important inventory control step because it lets you know at a given moment how many of your limited gift certificates have already been handed out and how many you still owe to kids in the community. So that's the prize redemption program. You can see here we just have some sample prizes included as well. If I want to add a prize, let's say there's a $5 coupon for Big Eddie's Pizza. We'll go ahead and add that prize here. Say it's a $5 coupon at Big Ed's Pizza. And we can leave this field blank. It's left here for advanced users. And then this message is displayed when the prize is earned. Congrats, you've earned a $5 coupon. Claim it at the library. And I'll show you how we can actually use this prize in a program a little later on. Okay, so that's how we do this to add a prize, for instance. Let's take a look at how that prize is actually going to be used. If you'll remember when we first signed up as readers, we saw 3 example programs here: Summer Reading, Example Kids, and Example Teens. You can see here the number of levels that each program has. Let's take a look at these levels and you can see what I mean by this. We have a planning worksheet and a planning webinar that we usually do with BookPoints libraries to help explain this, but it's really pretty simple. We've tried to make it as easy as possible for you to convert your existing paper-based program into rules for an online application. So if you had a very simple paper-based program where kids read 3 books, and after they've read 3 books, they earn a prize. And they also earn a ticket in our end of the summer raffle for a free iPad. This is how you would set up that program in BookPoints. Let's look closer and see what it looks like. When a kid signs up for the program, we know they have 0 points. So every program starts out with level 0. If you wish, you can add a badge here so that when kids first sign up for the program, they can get a badge. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's add a reader badge here. Let's give kids the Jupiter badge because I know that's a badge, jupiter.jpg. And I'm going to go ahead and click Save. Again, please ignore that pink administrator message. As librarians, you won't see those on your site day to day. All right. Now our level 0, when we have 0 points, obviously we don't get a prize, we don't get a raffle ticket, but we did earn the Jupiter badge. In this program, we've decided that every time a kid reads a book, they get 100 points. So when a kid reads 100 points, that's their first book, they earn the Mercury badge. When they've read their second book, so 200 points, they get the Venus badge. Still no prize, still no raffle tickets. When they've read the third book, they now have 300 points. We're going to give them the sample prize, and we're going to give them 1 free raffle ticket in the end of the summer raffle. Okay? That's what it looks like to set up a summer reading program in BookPoints. If we want to add a 4th level, I'll show you how easy it is. I'll click on Add Level. This will be level 4. Point threshold will be 400. Congrats on reading your, 4th book. We will not give them another prize. Let's go ahead and give them the Mars badge, though, following our theme. Maybe we want to give them a bonus raffle ticket when they read that 4th book. And then again, since I'm on a development server, please ignore that last field. All right, level 4 has been added. We can now add another level to the reading program. All right, let's go back and see what that program looks like. I believe Fergie is in that program. Yeah, she has 100 badges and she got the Mercury badge. Let's go ahead and give Fergie a few more books. Let's say she read Harry Potter. Okay, she's read 2 books. Keep up the great work, Fergie. You can see she now has 200 points in the Venus badge. Let's go ahead and give her Harry Potter 2, whatever that's called. Let's get her up to 300 points here. Originally, I had a 3-level program here, so her message says, congratulations, you finished the summer reading program. Take a look here. Remember we said when she finishes 3 books and has 300 points, she's going to get a prize. This is what that looks like now. she's always going to see this message. Even if she logs out today and logs back in a week from now, she'll see that message. Let's see what that looks like on the administrator side. I'm going back to my administrator screen. I'm going to scroll down to the library menu and click on readers so I can find Frankie the reader, or Fergie the reader, excuse me. Let's say Fergie sees that prize message. Yay, I won a prize. Her mom takes her to the library. She says to the librarian, I want a prize. Librarian says, all right, Fergie, let's see if you're in here. We'll search for Fergie. Here she is. Let's go ahead and manage her reader account and make sure she won that prize. Prizes earned. Sample prize 1, status unclaimed. All right, now as the librarian, I'm going to hand over my $5 coupon, and I'm going to note that she claimed it. Now, Fergie cannot accidentally go to another branch and claim that prize. And when I refresh the page over here, you can see that the prize message is gone. So that's the prize redemption feature. Questions about that so far? We're still doing good? Okay. And you can see there's the Earth badge. Let's go ahead and do that one more prize or one more level that we said. Let's have her read it. That's the easiest book to review. Click on submit. Congrats on reading your 4th book. There's the custom message we typed in. Again, we ignore the pink box. And there's the Mars badge that she's been awarded as well. Okay. So again, that ties into your administration reports, so you can see how many prizes have been claimed. As a librarian now, if I just click on home, I should go back to the library screen. I can see I've got new reader here, and one more kid in the example program, a couple more signups. It's been read a couple times, and then I have 1 claimed prize and 1 unclaimed prize. So that shows up there. If there's no questions, I'll keep going through some of the setup menu items here. You've seen how easy it is to set up a basic program. Again, your programs can be based on minutes, pages, hours, or the number of books you've read. If we want to make a new adult program, for instance, I'll click on Add Program. We'll say this is Anytown Adult Book Club, even though that always sounds vaguely wrong. Per unit label, how many whats are they reading? Are they reading books? Are they reading pages? Are they reading minutes? Adult programs are usually per book. We usually go ahead and give 100 points per book. The points are completely arbitrary. The only reason we use points is to help libraries harmonize their programs. So if you have your pre-readers, maybe they get 10 points a book for 100 books, and they end with 1,000 points. But for your teens, they get 100 points a book, and they have to read 10 books this summer. They still get 1,000 points. That way you can still in your marketing say, earn 1,000 points to earn a $5 gift certificate or whatever. So for this program, we'll say 100 points per book. We could just as easily say 1 point per book, or we could say 1 point per page, per minute, days, 15 or 20 minute period, etc. If you have a new unit of measurement you'd like us to add, fortnight or something else, just let us know. Here's where we'll put a short description of our program. You, of course, can add images, format the text, add links to your reading list, etc. This is an adult program, and that's all there is to it. We'll click Save, and we've created a very simple program. You can see here now that our book club has been saved, and we can add a level to the Anytown Adult Book Club. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to add our first level.
Jim,
we said 100 points per book. Oh, sorry, question?
Sorry, yeah, we do have a question that came in. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Just asked if at one point, can you talk about activities? And he said, I'd like to know more about the activities section I saw on Fergie's page.
You betcha. Let's go right into that next. Let me add one quick example level here just so you can see what it looks like.
Perfect. Thank you,
Jim. In our adult program, you betcha. Thanks for interrupting. In our adult, sorry, that sounded facetious, but I was sincere. Level 1, we'll say that that's when they read 1 book, so they've earned 100 points. Congrats on reading your first book. We could award them a prize here. We could give them a prize for our, what was it, pizza coupon? We could give them a prize if we want. We usually don't give somebody a prize for their first read, though. You know, let's save the good stuff for later. We can go ahead and give them a badge. I'll just show you some of the example badges: sports badge, audiophile. Here's the cool sample badge. Can't go wrong there. We'll look at the raffle a little bit later. We'll give them one raffle ticket just for reading their first book, and then we save. Again, we can click here to add another level to the program, but I'm just going to go ahead and look at the program right now. Anytown Adult Book Club. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm missing a link for our levels there. There we go. Anytown Adult Book Club has 2 levels. We should have our default 0 level. And then we have the level we just added. 100 points per book. So after 1 book, we get 1 drawing ticket and the cool sample badge. That easy. So again, we help you through this process. If you need help sort of figuring out how to translate the language of your existing paper book program into this sort of how to think like this in levels, happy to do it. I've now helped design, I feel like, several hundred summer reading programs over the last several years. So always happy to help answer questions about that. Activities and secret codes, great question. So remember, back on our reader dashboard, we can have readers enter a secret code or claim an activity. Now these are both set up basically the same way. If we want to add a new secret code, I'll click on secret code in the setup menu. Oh, here's why Harriet the Spy didn't work. We haven't added any. Secret code has a name, so we'll call this one Super Spy. The description is actually not used right now, although we may use descriptions for those in a later version of the software. You can choose to award points for this. Here's an important note. Some libraries get really excited about awarding points for activities because it encourages kids to come in and do all sorts of other stuff and earn points besides reading. So you can play video games or board games at the library, or give a librarian a high five and earn 20 points. Other librarians think that summer reading should only be about reading. So they will not let kids earn points toward their summer reading goal by completing activities and secret codes. It is entirely up to you. If you wish, you can award points here. I could give kids like a half a book's worth of points here. If it's 100 points a book, I could give them half a book's worth. Or if they're 1 point per page, I could give them a free 20-page bonus for doing the secret code. I could also award them a badge. So do I have a spy badge? I don't remember if I do this year. Nope. Let's just see what we have for 2019. Nothing? All right, let's just pick a random badge here. Let's use the example badge. Now here's where I can say which program this code is valid for. A code like Harriet the Spy, we probably want to make it valid for everybody because she's everybody's favorite detective. And then here's where we actually enter the code itself. Quick note, don't mix up numbers and capital letters and lowercase letters. The users can type in whatever they want, and we're generous and we accept it. But just for ease of reading, try to make them distinguishable like this. So now we click Save. And if I flip back to Fergie's page, I'm going to do a quick refresh just to make sure everything's uploaded. Enter a secret code, Harriet Spy. And she got 20 points. Secret code accepted. Congratulations. This is the generic badge message for the example badge. And then here's the generic you added a code message. And here's our example badge down here for Summer Reading 19. Here's a quick useful tip. Activities and secret codes are the exact same thing, except activities can be claimed on the honor system by readers and are thus subject to cheating. And secret codes can only be entered if you as a librarian give them the code somehow. As I said earlier, you can stick those in books or give them out at story time, give one out at your kickoff event, hide one on the footer of your normal website, all sorts of ideas for secret codes. Does that answer the question about secret codes and activities? Our setup guide on the BookPoints website, which I can't easily access because of the Zoom bar here. If you go to documentation, I rewrote all the documentation this winter for some of our changes. It's now all in one PDF, and I'll go ahead and repost the actual HTML soon. But it's an 82-page guide that explains the software and also has worksheets to help you plan it. So if you do that, if you use that worksheet, there's actually all sorts of suggestions for activities and for secret codes that other libraries have come up with. So feel free to take a look at that, look at the documentation. And again, it's not just documentation, it's also a setup guide and an idea guide. So you can definitely get some inspiration from all the libraries we've worked with in the past. Does that answer the question with respect to activities and secret codes?
Yes, thank you, Jim.
Awesome, awesome. I want to be very careful of time here. 20 minutes left. We've looked at almost everything we want to look at. I want to show you a couple more things about how easy it is to set stuff up on this website. Again, we want you to be able to customize the website without knowing any HTML or CSS. So we have, it's loading a little slowly here. We'll take a look at this page first. If you want to edit custom text box on your site, you go to the custom blocks page, you find the one you want to edit, and you click the edit link. So if you want to edit that home page on the right-hand side that's highlighted in red, you click this link here. If you want to change the sign-up instructions, blue or green, you just click the appropriate one you want to customize. For instance, if we want to change the legal terms and conditions, we can just click this link here, and you can see that it's very easy. What do you want to call them? Terms of use. What do you want to say? I agree with these terms. And then once you save that, you can go on and change the actual terms of use and how you've set that up, what they actually are. If you want to change, oh, here's a nice thing. This is a big warning I put on to encourage people to be very careful. Here's how you change the site name. So if you're not Anytown Public Library, then you can change that to whatever library you are. And I probably want to go ahead and change the slogan to 2019 on the demo site. And then if you want to change how your sidebars are positioned, you can come here. If you want to change the default fonts, all of this, again, is thoroughly documented in the documentation. If you have a webmaster, or maybe you had a graphic designer build your existing website, and they gave you specific fonts to use, you can replicate those fonts here. If you use Google Fonts on your website, or you just want to play with fonts, you can select from any one of thousands of readily available Google fonts for free. Or again, you can use your custom font. Here's the color changer. Every aspect of the site is listed here on the left, and you can see what color is currently assigned to it. So we have a white base on our site, light gray background. Our text is very light black. Our links are blue. You can use the color bar over here, or if you have an existing website and you know that your official colors for blue is, what would that be, 0023 A2. That's pretty blue, yeah. So if your webmaster says, here's our official color for blue, you just type that in there, and now your website is your BookPoints website will match your main website, right? So you can make those match exactly. You can change the header image. By default, we include this space image, like a galaxy or something. And you can we include a blank version with every website that doesn't have your library name here. So you can actually just superimpose your own library name there. We also have like I said, we have some other space graphics this year, just because this year's theme is space exploration. All right, so as far as setup, we've looked at basically everything on the setup side of things. We looked at adding badges and prizes, branches and schools. We didn't look at that, but it's a very simple form. This just shows a list of all the schools. You can import them or add them manually, and those show up on the user form. Any questions about customizing a program or setting up a program? Day-to-day operations of librarians. Any cool features that we didn't talk about? Theme and graphic customization. While I'm waiting for you to type some questions, I'll point out real quick, we do include some other rudimentary features. Some libraries choose to use these, some libraries choose to disable these. We have a simple event calendar, or you can make this events link in the menu point to your library's existing event calendar. Some libraries say, look, we finally got an event calendar on our main website that works. Let's just reuse that. So we can make events point to your existing website. To be precise, you can make that easily point to your existing website. We have a very simple book review feature. We don't allow readers to publish book reviews to the website on their own. readers have to submit their review and have it approved by librarian. We never let readers contact each other. We never let readers communicate with each other because there's all sorts of privacy and security implications that come up with that, obviously. On this site, we don't have any demo reviews yet. We looked at the reading log earlier. That just shows each reader's list of books read. I'm an administrator, so my book log is empty. The photo gallery. Some libraries have events before and throughout summer reading, and so we just made a very simple way for them to upload a bunch of photos of kids reading at the library. So pretty simple stuff, just again, rudimentary features, just built with basic Drupal tools. You can use them as is or customize them by, customizing the text here before you upload the images. Okay, so those are just some of the secondary features. Jesse, do we have any questions that have come up?
No more questions yet.
Wow, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and pat myself on the back and say that means I've given a very thorough and detailed explanation, and not that everybody fell asleep because it's Friday afternoon before a holiday weekend. Okay, well, I know we do have some time left. I will stick around in case anyone has some shyness and wants to ask questions privately via chat. You can contact us just by visiting the bookpoints.org website and hitting the contact form here. I will go ahead and tell you our address is just team@bookpoints.org, TEAM, and that reaches myself, my support associate, and my boss. Again, we do offer this as a hosted service. It's a sliding scale based on circulation, but we also have the opportunity for you to download it. There's a big download button here on the main menu, and we do have many libraries that choose to download the software and run it themselves in-house. If you already run Drupal, this is exactly the same and you'll have no problems. If you've never run Drupal before, that's when we would encourage you to consider hosting with us or hosting with your existing Drupal provider. Again, completely open source. We welcome your input, we welcome your feedback, and we definitely encourage all of our participating libraries to share what they've built and what they've worked on with each other to help strengthen everybody's programs in years to come. So with that said, I'll stick around and wrap up with Jesse, but thanks so much for listening to me go on about this. As you can probably tell, this is a bit of a labor of love for us here, a bit of a passion project, and I'm really grateful that you let me go on about it for so long today. So thanks very much, and I hope to hear from folks with questions in the future. Thanks again.
Thank you, Jim. You did a great job, and you can see there's a few chats coming through now. Looks great. Thank you.
I'm going to pause for just a second to take a drink of water, and then I'll hop in the chat and work with folks. Thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Hey, thank you all for coming out today, or I guess logging in today, I should say. Always happy to talk about summer reading and whatever we can do to help stop summer slide, especially for our younger patrons. So definitely best wishes on your summer reading programs this year, whether they're online or paper-based, and have a great weekend. And Jesse, I'll follow up with you via email after this, and thanks very much again to you and your team as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Jim. I'll send you an email with information shortly.
Thank you. Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.